Life often unfolds in ways that escape our immediate attention. The greatest movements of growth are rarely accompanied by noise, applause, or recognition. Instead, they happen quietly, in the background, in the moments that pass unnoticed by the world but are deeply felt within ourselves. The unnoticed path is not the road lined with markers, milestones, and witnesses. It is the subtle journey that takes place inside, where every step forward is small yet profound. Many people search for transformation in dramatic events. They wait for breakthroughs, for signs so clear that they cannot be ignored, for circumstances so powerful that they force a change. Yet in reality, transformation often begins with the unnoticed path. It is not the grand event that shifts a life, but the gradual accumulation of small choices. Choosing to stay calm when anger arises, choosing to remain still when everything pushes you to react, choosing to listen to silence instead of drowning in noise. These choices do not bring instant recognition, but they shape the spirit in ways the world cannot measure. The unnoticed path teaches us humility, because when we walk it, there is no audience. There is no validation, no clapping hands, no reward waiting at the end of the day. The progress is invisible to others, but undeniable to the one walking. Growth that is not recognized still remains growth. A seed buried in the soil does not cry for attention, yet its quiet expansion underground is what makes the tree possible. In the same way, the unnoticed path strengthens the roots of the self. In this journey, silence becomes a companion. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of awareness. Within it, the noise of the world is stripped away, and what remains is the truth of one's own condition. To walk the unnoticed path means to turn inward when the world insists you look outward. It means to honor the parts of yourself that cannot be displayed, cannot be proven, but can only be lived. Many fear the unnoticed path because it seems lonely. The mind craves recognition. It desires that others see, understand, and validate the effort being made. Yet the strength of this journey lies precisely in its lack of recognition. By detaching from the need for approval, the walker discovers freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others, freedom from comparison, freedom from the constant gaze of the outside world. This freedom is not loud, but it is unshakable. The unnoticed path also teaches patience. Unlike the visible road, where progress can be measured and praised, the hidden path offers no clear signs. The steps are small, the changes almost imperceptible, and the destination uncertain. But patience is what allows the transformation to take root. Just as a mountain is not shaped by a single gust of wind, but by countless whispers of air across centuries, so too is the human spirit shaped slowly, invisibly, until the change becomes undeniable. When walking this path, one learns to find meaning in the smallest details. A single breath taken with full awareness becomes more valuable than hours spent in distraction. A single moment of clarity outweighs days of confusion. A quiet act of kindness done without witnesses carries more weight than one performed for recognition. It is here that the unnoticed path reveals its strength. It cultivates depth rather than appearance, essence rather than performance. To walk the unnoticed path is also to embrace uncertainty. Without clear markers, one cannot always know if the direction is correct. Doubt will arise, questions will persist, and yet the movement continues. Trust becomes essential. Trust not in external guidance, but in the subtle rhythm of life itself. Trust that every step, however hidden, is contributing to the unfolding of something greater. This trust does not demand evidence, it demands surrender. The unnoticed path strips away illusions. It removes the need for show, the desire to prove, the hunger to be seen. What remains is a simplicity that many overlook. The simplicity of breathing with awareness. The simplicity of observing without reacting. The simplicity of existing without needing to justify that existence. From the outside, these acts appear small, almost insignificant. Yet from within, they carry the weight of transformation. There is also discipline in this path, because when no one is watching, it is easy to neglect the practice. Easy to give up, to return to distraction, to abandon the quiet journey. Discipline ensures continuity even when results are invisible. It is this persistence, carried out in the unnoticed hours, that shapes the strength of character. A warrior does not sharpen his blade only in battle, but every day in solitude, unseen. The unnoticed path is this sharpening, quiet preparation that builds resilience. Those who walk the unnoticed path discover that the deepest fulfillment does not come from being recognized, but from being aligned with one's inner truth, aligned with the quiet flow of existence. When alignment is found, the external world loses its power to control. Success and failure, praise and criticism, presence and absence, they no longer dictate the quality of one's being. The walker becomes steady, unshaken, carried not by recognition but by clarity. The unnoticed path is therefore not a detour, but the true road of transformation. It demands courage to walk silently while others chase noise. It demands faith to keep going when no one sees progress. It demands patience to nurture seeds that may not bloom for years. Yet this path, though hidden, shapes the strongest roots, and from those roots all visible growth eventually arises. When people seek change, they often look outward. They think if they could only change their environment, their job, their relationships, or the way others perceive them, then happiness will follow. Yet this pursuit of external adjustments without inner cultivation is like trying to build a tall house on unstable ground. It may stand for a while, but eventually it collapses because the foundation is weak. The truth is that lasting transformation cannot be borrowed from outside circumstances. It must be built from within. Inner growth must come first because it is the soil from which every other form of progress will grow. Inner growth does not happen by accident. It requires awareness, effort, and willingness to confront the self. Many avoid it because it means facing discomfort, but discomfort is the teacher that strips away illusions. To grow internally is to recognize the patterns of the mind, the habits of thought that keep us repeating the same cycles. A person who does not examine their inner state becomes a prisoner of it, endlessly reacting to life rather than shaping it consciously. Growth begins when one sees clearly. This is what I carry within me, and this is what I must work through. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner world. A turbulent mind creates a turbulent life. A peaceful heart creates harmony even in difficult environments. When you train the inner landscape, the outer circumstances begin to shift in alignment with that state. But most people try to skip this step. They attempt to decorate their external life with success, possessions, or recognition, but inside there is still confusion, insecurity, or unresolved pain. Without inner growth, outer achievements remain hollow because the one who experiences them is not yet whole. To place inner growth first is to understand that real strength comes from discipline. Discipline of mind, discipline of emotion, discipline of energy. It means not allowing every impulse to control you. It means not chasing every desire, not feeding every fear. It is to choose awareness over reaction, clarity over confusion, stability over chaos. This kind of discipline is not about suppression but about alignment. You no longer waste energy in scattered directions, but channel it toward conscious living. There is also patience in inner growth. Nothing of real value unfolds overnight. A seed does not become a tree in a single season. It requires care, water, and time. In the same way, you cannot expect yourself to change in one meditation, one book, or one decision. The work is daily and it is subtle. It is in the small choices, choosing calmness over anger, silence over meaningless noise, presence over distraction. These small choices accumulate, and they transform the inner being. When the inside is neglected, even the most favorable external situation will not satisfy. Someone may reach the highest position in society, yet still feel empty. Another may gather wealth, but without peace of mind, it becomes only a burden. Inner growth provides the capacity to truly experience and enjoy whatever comes in life. It gives the tools to withstand loss and still remain centered, to face uncertainty without collapsing, to meet challenges with clarity. Inner growth also opens the way to deeper connection with others. Many relationships fail not because of the other person, but because individuals have not first matured within themselves. Without self-awareness, one projects insecurity onto others, demands what cannot be given, and becomes trapped in cycles of blame. But when the inner self is cultivated, relationships transform. Instead of seeking validation, one offers presence. Instead of demanding, one contributes. Inner growth shifts the dynamic from dependency to harmony. Another aspect of inner growth is learning to quiet the mind. The mind is like a river, and for many, it is always turbulent. Thoughts collide, emotions overflow, and clarity is lost. Inner training brings stillness. When the river becomes calm, one can see the reflection of the sky clearly. When the mind becomes calm, one perceives truth without distortion. This clarity is essential because without it, every decision is made from confusion. With clarity, one acts not out of compulsion but from conscious choice. There is also resilience born from inner growth. Life will bring challenges, whether you desire them or not. To place inner growth first means to prepare yourself for those inevitable storms. Instead of hoping for a life without difficulty, you strengthen yourself to meet difficulty without breaking. Like bamboo that bends with the wind yet does not snap, inner growth gives flexibility and endurance. The storms come, but you remain rooted. And with growth comes freedom. The more you understand yourself, the less control the world has over you. Opinions, judgments, and expectations lose their power. You no longer live according to what others demand, but according to what is aligned within you. This freedom is not loud, it is silent strength. It is not rebellion, it is self-mastery. It comes from knowing who you are beyond roles, beyond masks, beyond circumstances. Every great transformation begins here. Before new skills, before external accomplishments, before recognition, there must be a foundation of inner strength. Without it, achievements fade. With it, even simple things carry profound meaning. This is why the journey always starts within. Inner growth first, because everything else follows from it. Life is filled with patterns we try to control, plans we carefully design, and paths we believe we must follow. Yet, it is often not the carefully designed path that changes us, but the sudden turns we did not expect. An unexpected encounter arrives without invitation, without warning, and without preparation. It interrupts the momentum of daily life, shifts our rhythm, and demands that we face something unfamiliar. These moments are not accidents, they carry with them a force that goes beyond chance, a reminder that life is not only what we choose, but also what chooses us. The human mind is deeply conditioned to seek certainty. It clings to routines, to familiar faces, to predictable events. We like to know what is coming next. This brings comfort and a sense of stability. But stability can sometimes become a trap, a fixed cage that stops growth. Unexpected encounters arrive as disruptions to discomfort. They awaken us to possibilities we could not imagine while sitting in the safe walls of predictability. They remind us that life is bigger than the plans we make, and that our path is not limited to the horizon we can see. When something or someone appears unexpectedly, the first reaction is often resistance. The mind questions, why now? Why this? It tries to measure the encounter through past experiences to fit it into the existing map of understanding. But what makes an encounter powerful is precisely that it does not fit. It refuses to be explained in old ways. It forces us to expand, to stretch, to let go of the map we cling to. In this way, the unexpected is not an obstacle, but a teacher. It asks us to be fluid, to learn adaptability, to walk into spaces where our comfort is stripped away. There is a profound energy in what cannot be planned. A stranger's words, an unforeseen opportunity, a sudden challenge, or even a fleeting moment in nature can shift the inner landscape. These are the encounters that pierce through the surface of habit and reach directly into the deeper self. We may not realize it in the moment, but later we see how such moments became turning points. A casual meeting turns into a lifelong connection. A sudden obstacle awakens hidden strength. An unplanned event sets the stage for a transformation. It is not about seeking such moments, but being present enough to recognize them when they come. The wisdom of unexpected encounters lies in their ability to bypass control. Control is the way the mind tries to protect itself, but it also limits what can enter. If life gave us only what we wanted, only what we thought we needed, then our growth would remain narrow, confined to the walls of our current imagination. The unexpected widens those walls, sometimes shattering them completely. In that breaking, new possibilities emerge. The mind may see chaos, but beneath chaos is expansion. What arrives unplanned carries the seed of new patterns, new rhythms, new versions of the self. There is also a subtle humility that grows from these experiences. We learn that not everything can be commanded, that not every outcome can be predicted. We may walk with confidence, yet an encounter can remind us how small our plans are in the face of the vastness of existence. This humility does not weaken us, it makes us wiser. It teaches us to dance with life, instead of demanding that life dance to our rhythm. It shows us the beauty of surrender, not as giving up, but as opening up. To walk with openness toward the unexpected is to walk with trust. Trust not in blind faith, but in the deep intelligence of life itself. Everything arrives with a lesson, even if it is wrapped in discomfort. The encounter that disturbs you may be the mirror you need to see yourself clearly. The challenge that frustrates you may be the training ground for unseen strength. The opportunity that seems too sudden may be the door you were unknowingly waiting for. Trust allows us to see not just the surface of the encounter, but the meaning it carries beneath. The art lies in presence. To be present is to meet the unexpected without running from it, without forcing it into the molds of fear or desire. Presence allows us to experience the rawness of the encounter, to listen to what it is revealing rather than rushing to categorize it. Every unexpected encounter is alive with energy, but only presence can catch that energy before it slips away. If the mind is distracted, the moment passes unnoticed. But if awareness is sharp, even the smallest unexpected meeting can leave a mark that echoes for a lifetime. The journey of life is not linear, and it is not always logical. We may set goals, but the path will twist. We may think we know what we need, but the universe has its own timing, its own ways of teaching. Unexpected encounters are the whispers of that greater intelligence. They say, here is something beyond what you imagined. Here is the invitation to grow in ways you have not yet considered. To walk this path is to realize that the unplanned carries as much meaning as the planned, that the unseen has as much power as the visible, that the unknown can be as much a friend as the known. Unexpected encounters invite us to live in a state of openness, to welcome the mystery instead of fearing it. They call us to soften the grip of control, to expand beyond comfort, to see each moment as a possible turning point. They remind us that life is not a straight line but a vast field, filled with sudden arrivals, surprising meetings, and moments that cannot be rehearsed. Each encounter, whether joyful or challenging, holds the possibility of transformation if only we are willing to meet it with awareness, humility, and trust. When you stand before a mirror, what do you truly see? At first glance, it may appear that the mirror simply reflects your physical body, your face, your expressions, the details of your outer self. But if you stand long enough and observe in silence, the mirror does not only reveal your appearance. It reveals the weight you carry, the emotions you suppress, the thoughts that circle endlessly in your mind. The mirror does not lie, it only shows what is present. And if you learn to look deeper, it becomes more than glass. It becomes the mirror of the soul. The mirror of the soul is not a physical object. It is the inner awareness that reflects back to you the state of your being. Just as a lake reflects the sky only when its surface is still, your soul reflects its true nature only when the mind is calm. When the water is disturbed, the image is broken and unclear. In the same way, when the mind is filled with desires, fears, and noise, the reflection of the soul becomes distorted. You no longer see yourself as you are. You see fragments of yourself shaped by expectation, by memory, by the weight of external voices. To face the mirror of the soul requires courage, because it is much easier to avoid what the reflection shows. It is easier to distract yourself with activity, with entertainment, with noise, rather than to look at the truth of your own state. But the path to transformation begins with seeing clearly. Without clarity, you cannot take a single step forward. The mirror of the soul shows you your attachments. It shows you your hidden wounds. It shows you your strength and your weakness without judgment. The question is not whether the mirror reflects the truth. The question is whether you are willing to face it. In ancient traditions, the practice of self-reflection was seen as the foundation of wisdom. Not reflection as in overthinking, but reflection as in deep seeing. This is why meditation and silence were taught, not as escapes, but as methods to polish the inner mirror. Each time you return to stillness, you wipe away a layer of dust. Each time you let go of a false identity, a clearer reflection emerges, and with each practice, the mirror of the soul becomes less clouded. When the mirror is clean, you begin to recognize that what you see is not separate from the world around you. The anger you feel inside, you will see reflected in the faces of others. The love you carry, you will find mirrored in the simplest gestures of life. The world is not apart from you. It is a reflection of you. To change what you see in the world, you must first change what is reflected within. This is why the masters always taught, if you wish to see peace in the world, create peace within yourself first. The mirror cannot show anything that is not already there. Many people fear the mirror of the soul because it confronts them with contradictions. You may believe you are strong, but the mirror shows you how fragile your patience truly is. You may think of yourself as compassionate, but the mirror reveals the judgments you still hold. You may cling to an identity, but the mirror does not care for identities. It reflects only what is. This confrontation can be painful, but pain is not the enemy. Pain is the light that reveals where attention is needed. The mirror of the soul also teaches humility, because no matter how much you grow, the mirror always shows that there is more to uncover. Just when you think you have reached a peak, the mirror reflects another layer beneath. The journey inward is endless, and the reflection is always shifting as you evolve. What you see today may not be what you see tomorrow, because the soul is vast and the mirror reflects its infinite depth. There is also a paradox. The mirror of the soul is always present, but most live as if it does not exist. It is not hidden, but it is overlooked. It is not complicated, but it requires stillness. It is not outside, yet people search for it in books, in teachers, in philosophies. To find it, you must turn inward. To face it, you must be honest. To understand it, you must be silent. The practice of looking into the mirror of the soul is not about fixing what you see. It is about allowing what is there to be seen fully. In that seeing, transformation naturally arises. A clouded mirror does not need force to clear, it needs wiping. In the same way, the soul does not need you to struggle to improve it. It only requires awareness to remove what covers its natural light. When the coverings fall away, clarity and peace shine on their own. The mirror shows you not only who you are, but also who you can become. It reveals potential hidden under layers of fear. It reflects back the strength you have forgotten. It uncovers the purity that has always been there, waiting beneath the noise. And the more you return to this mirror, the more you realize that the light you seek outside has been shining from within all along. In life, there is a constant pull between the outer noise and the inner stillness. Excitement shouts loudly, it demands attention, it flashes like lightning, it shakes the ground for a moment. Peace, on the other hand, whispers softly, steady and unshaken, like a mountain unmoved by storm. When we look deeper, we notice that what many chase is not peace but excitement, and in chasing it, they lose themselves in cycles of highs and lows that leave them exhausted, restless, and always searching for the next spark. The question arises, what sustains us longer, the fleeting thrill or the calm current of inner peace? Excitement comes like a wave. It rises high, thrilling, even intoxicating. It lifts you quickly but also drops you with equal force. When one builds a life only on excitement, the heart is trained to seek stimulation, to constantly look outward for the next rush. This is why many feel bored the moment things become still, because they have trained their senses to crave noise, drama, movement, and intensity. But a life lived only in the realm of excitement is fragile because it depends on conditions always changing, on circumstances beyond control. And when those conditions shift, the person feels empty, restless, and unsettled. Peace is different. Peace does not rely on external conditions. It does not need the world to applaud, the crowd to cheer, or fortune to smile. Peace is born from alignment with one's own center. It is cultivated when the mind learns to befriend silence, when the body is no longer pulled by every impulse, when the heart is steady regardless of gain or loss. Peace does not vanish when the lights go out, it grows even stronger in the quiet. Where excitement burns quickly and fades into ashes, peace glows steadily like a flame that warms without consuming. There is a danger hidden in excitement. The more one relies on it, the more one becomes addicted to temporary highs. The mind then confuses intensity with meaning, assuming that the louder, the brighter, the faster, the more alive it feels. But this aliveness is deceptive. It does not deepen the roots of one's being, it only agitates the surface. And soon, the person finds themselves chasing endlessly the next adventure, the next possession, the next recognition. Excitement promises joy but often leaves emptiness when it is gone. The heart then begins again, searching, restless, unsatisfied. Peace asks for patience. It is not as dazzling, not as loud, not as instantly gratifying. It requires one to slow down, to sit with the self, to listen beyond the noise. In peace, you confront your own thoughts, your fears, your restlessness. Many avoid peace because it feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first. But when one learns to remain in it, something profound happens, clarity arises. In peace, you see things as they are, not distorted by the intoxication of excitement. Decisions become wiser. The body heals. The mind softens. The heart becomes lighter. Peace also brings endurance. What excitement cannot sustain for long, peace carries with steadiness. A person rooted in peace is not swayed by every rise and fall of fortune. They can walk through storms without losing balance. Their energy is not scattered but gathered, not wasted but conserved. Peace gives strength not through intensity but through stability. Just as a tree grows not by rushing upward, but by rooting deeply into the earth, a person grows not through constant bursts of excitement, but through the steady grounding of peace. When peace becomes the foundation, excitement can still come, but it no longer controls. It arrives like a visitor enjoyed for a moment, and then it passes without leaving emptiness. Excitement is then placed in its rightful place, temporary, external, enjoyable but not essential. Peace, however, remains as the core, the source, the unshaken ground. This shift transforms life from a cycle of highs and lows into a steady path where joy does not depend on conditions. The pursuit of peace is not an escape from life but a deeper entry into it. Excitement distracts, peace reveals. Excitement scatters attention, peace gathers it. Excitement consumes energy, peace restores it. When one learns to choose peace over excitement, life becomes less about chasing moments and more about inhabiting the present fully. And from this fullness, a new type of energy arises, quiet, strong, enduring, and unbreakable. Peace is a power misunderstood in a world that glorifies speed and stimulation. Yet when the world grows louder, peace becomes even more precious. It is not the absence of feeling, but the presence of balance. It is not emptiness, but fullness in stillness. It is not weakness, but strength in restraint. And while excitement may impress the eyes for a moment, peace nourishes the soul for a lifetime. There are moments in life when words lose their value. Explanations become unnecessary, and the desire to be understood dissolves like mist under the morning sun. This is the realm of silent confirmation, where presence speaks louder than any declaration. It is a state where the inner world aligns so deeply with truth that no validation is needed, no applause required, no external agreement sought. Silence itself becomes the confirmation that what you hold within is real, unshakable, and eternal. In a world filled with endless noise, constant opinions, and the rush of voices demanding to be heard, silence is often misunderstood. Many equate it with weakness, avoidance, or emptiness. But true silence is not absence. It is presence in its purest form. It is the fullness that arises when nothing more needs to be added, when nothing external can either confirm or deny what already is. The silent confirmation is the recognition that truth, once lived, requires no defense. It is a knowing that sits beyond the debate, beyond the realm of argument, beyond the insecurity that seeks reassurance. When the heart and the mind wrestle with doubt, there is a need to prove, to justify, to explain. But when alignment is reached, silence emerges naturally. It is not chosen out of pride but born from clarity. A river does not explain why it flows. A mountain does not justify why it stands. The sun does not announce its rising. These are silent confirmations of their own essence, and so too is the human spirit when it arrives at peace with itself. The power of silent confirmation is subtle yet immense. It creates a field that others feel without needing to be told. When someone has truly found inner balance, you can sense it in their presence. Their actions do not clamor for attention. Their words, when spoken, are few but weighted with depth. Even their stillness carries influence. This is because silence, when rooted in authenticity, radiates strength. It cannot be shaken by criticism nor inflated by praise. It is steady like the earth beneath our feet, unbothered by the shifting seasons above. Many seek external approval to confirm their worth. They measure themselves by the judgments of others, waiting for the nods, the applause, the recognition. But these forms of confirmation are fragile, fleeting, and inconsistent. The silent confirmation is different. It comes from within and does not waver with the winds of opinion. It requires patience, discipline, and the courage to trust in the unseen. It is the strength to stand in what you know to be true without the need to announce it to the world. This form of confirmation grows in spaces of solitude. When one withdraws from the noise and enters the depth of stillness, a new awareness arises. The distractions fall away, and what remains is the undeniable presence of being itself. In that state, the questions quiet down. The uncertainties lose their grip. What once required explanation becomes self-evident. The silence affirms that everything is unfolding as it should. Silent confirmation is not about doing nothing. It is about doing without the need for recognition. It is about allowing the truth of your being to speak through your actions, your posture, your gaze, and your choices. The tree does not proclaim that it gives shade, yet it does. The candle does not boast that it gives light, yet it shines. The silent confirmation is woven into existence itself. It is the natural authority of what simply is. There is also humility in this silence. To remain silent is to accept that words are often insufficient. The deepest truths cannot be contained in language. They must be lived, not spoken. They must be embodied, not described. To rest in silent confirmation is to trust that what is real will reveal itself without effort, that what is authentic will endure without explanation. In silence, there is no striving, only the steady unfolding of being. When silence becomes your confirmation, freedom follows. You are no longer tied to the opinions of others. You are not chained to the endless cycle of seeking approval. You are free from defending your path, for you know it intimately. This freedom opens space for deeper listening, for a clearer perception of life as it is. The inner storm settles, and in its place arises a stillness that is alive, alert, and unmovable. This silence is not emptiness, but fullness. It holds the weight of all that is unspoken, all that is deeply known but beyond articulation. It is the silence of wisdom, the silence of patience, the silence of alignment. It is not passive but active, shaping reality with its calm presence. It is the confirmation that truth does not need noise to exist, that clarity does not require explanation, that strength does not need to be displayed. In every step, every breath, every pause, the silent confirmation is present. It does not need recognition, yet it commands it naturally. It does not seek power, yet it radiates power effortlessly. It is the quiet answer to all doubts, the invisible seal on all authenticity, the final resting place of the restless search for validation. It is the still point from which all movement begins and to which all returns. It is the quiet flame that does not flicker in the winds of life, but continues to burn with unwavering light, illuminating without sound, guiding without words, affirming without ever needing to speak.